Hey, I'm Mitchell Davis, a Laravel developer.
I already know, mate. No, just kidding, mate. I hate these intros. Anyway, I'm Gavin Tye, sales marketing founder, co-founder at SixSides, and we're
Hey, what are we doing?
documenting our journey, mate, from
Oh,
idea through to exit.
oh, is that what we're doing? I
Yeah,
didn't know.
don't know.
To exit.
I don't know what exit is. It has to be somewhere along the line.
Well,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah,
Maybe we just die. Who knows?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. Yeah.
Look, we'll see how we go. Anyway, this is our B2B SaaS journey. We're building SixSides.co, growing your community through events. We're building apps. We're building software. We're doing it all, and we're doing it now, Gavin. And let's get into it. Enough dilly dallying. So, why don't I set us off? Let's talk about building a new app because that is exactly what we're doing. You have been beating the drum of me using AI to assist me in building out our technology. And this has kind of come off the back of a few episodes ago, we had Rolly on. And Rolly is the founder of Busable. So Rolly was walking us through how he does, how he adds new features to Busable, and then sent you and I a video on it, and how he's using Cursor. And I guess we won't go too in depth because he wanted us to kind of keep some things back. But basically, one of the core parts was using Cursor, which is this software editing tool that basically you can just talk to it and you give it your code base, and you've got like a ChatGPT type interface sitting there next to your code, and you can just ask it to do stuff and it'll then go try and do it. So an example that I can give you, because I started using this just literally today, this afternoon, probably only 2 hours ago. We're starting a new code base for the mobile app, and we'll talk about why that is in a minute. But I had a working app up and running on my computer in a simulator, and I asked Cursor, hey, can you change the home screen here so that it's got our logo, and here's a link to the logo, and add a getting started button or get started button or something like that. And sure enough, within like 2 seconds it had done it. And that was the first time I'd been like, wow, okay, that's really cool. And to be clear, it wasn't a huge, it's not like the most difficult thing in the world, right? It's a pretty easy thing for it to do. But it's like, wow, okay, this is really cool. And Rolly's demo that he sent through as well, that was really fascinating to see it go through and make this change. And it took it a little while as well. I think it kind of like thought through all the different steps of things that it would have to do. And then it went and made the change. And it turned out pretty good. It was probably like 80% of the way towards this feature that Rolly was trying to add. And so, yeah, seeing his video and then seeing it for myself today, I'm not now going to be like all in on AI and I'll never write code myself again. But you won. You got me to use it, and I actually enjoyed it. So yeah, it
Mate,
was really cool.
you were calling me a boomer a couple of weeks ago, and you're like a boomer stuck in a 32-year-old's body. Like you were so hesitant to change, and rightly so, right? You've built up your skill set, all that kind of stuff. But I think what I see in when most people use AI is they're trying to replace a human doing something, and then so you're taking away that the decision making ability or all the
The
human touch
creativity
from it.
as well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
but I think where what I learnt from when Hirali told us that, and what I'm also trying to do with some other things is it's human assisted AI where it makes you more productive instead of replaces it, like you. It would never replace you, right? You've got the I, what you want to do, the why, which it would never have that context. So yeah, it was. I was impressed, and when I saw the new app or the beginning of it, I was like, yeah, it makes me really proud. So
Yeah.
let's give the context of why. Like, why are we going through this change? Because you've had the one app since the
Yeah.
beginning. Now we're evolving it, and it's not just to make it look different. What's the purpose behind it?
Sure. So maybe I can set the stage a bit. So, the original app was built specifically for Laracon Australia in 2024, and there's a lot. I put a lot of work into that original app to allow it to run other events. So there are very few things inside of that code base that were hyper specific to Laracon Australia. So yes, there was like the branding inside of the app. That's all obviously custom for Laracon. But things like a list of talks, sessions and the speakers and sponsors and links and things like that are inside of the app, none of that was baked in. That was all just like available on via an API that I put together, but that could super easily be swapped out for some other events details, right? So that worked really well, and that's what allowed us to kind of get a start with this, that I knew I wasn't building just a Laracon app, even though that's how it looked. I had to build the bones to give us that, I guess, like from a technical term, you'd probably call it multi-tenant, which is, being able to use the same software but for different users, right? Yeah. And so I was building it in a way that was multi-tenant as far as the back end went, with the database and storing all the information about all the attendees and speakers, sponsors, talks, etc. But the front end, the mobile app code itself, did have some hard-coded Laracon Australia stuff because it just had to. I didn't really have a good solution to get around that. So that brings us to basically over the last month, you and I have been speaking about, well, how are we going to do this long term? What's our approach going to be? Are we building individual one-off apps that look like the Laracon Australia app, where it's got the conference name and it's got their branding and it's their icon or logo in the app store and things like that? Or are we building a SixSides app, right?
Our mission has changed too, right? So the previous structure didn't align with our since that first one of Laracon, and we've got together, talked about our differentiator and stuff. Our mission has changed, and that also didn't align with what our mission, which is fostering and building community. And part of building community should allow people to extend beyond an event, right?
Yeah, totally. And so if you just have a one-off event app for, in this case, Laracon Australia, it's like, well, how can we help other developers in that space, in the Laravel space? How could we still help them growing their own events, or like networking out to other tech events, right? So not necessarily Laravel events, but other tech events across Australia that maybe we want to get in front of for attendees from Laracon Australia. Like, we're just trying to think through flow-on effects and how we can help. And if we just have one app which is only used for 2 days of a conference and then people delete it, we lose a lot of that ability to help everyone, literally everyone in all 6 sites, like that's the whole premise of what we're trying to do is, well, let's grow these events and help everybody that's involved in all of the events, attendees, speakers, sponsors, etc. Right? So, yeah, that's how I see our mission having changed. Well, we're not just focusing on one event; we're focusing on many and trying to grow them all. Right? Yeah. So, we think the best way that we're going to be able to do that is with a single SixSides app. So that's what we will be looking to put into the App Store and Play Store. And then what we have been working on is trying to figure out, well, what's the experience like for someone who's never heard of SixSides before, and they hear from a Laracon, hey, we're using this app to do our Q&As or to do networking or, whatever, all the different aspects of what the app does. And how does an attendee, get into that app really quickly and get up and running? And try and take away as much friction as we can. So we've been working on that quite a bit over the last month. I don't think we're quite there yet. There's still a lot of question marks, but me starting the app this afternoon, starting to build out the new app in the new code base with Cursor, is a big step towards it. And like, honestly, I'm feeling pumped. about it. Like you talking about feeling proud with having the logo there sitting on, as I was doing a screen share. It's like, yeah, I feel that too. I'm like, this is really exciting. This is a whole new brand. It was really fun building out the app for Laracon last year, but it wasn't our logo sitting there on the home screen. It was Michael's, it was Laracon's, and that served that audience really well. But it's very exciting to have our own product there, that people will be using.
Yeah. So we have a couple of hypotheses now, like or what we think that will the natural progression or how it sets up, but we also don't necessarily want to go down and build it out. So this is where, if anyone's listen to the other podcast episodes, we talked about a client advocacy group. So one of the things here we're talking about now is getting an example of what our flow could look like or what our screens could look like. Then I'll go back to some of these clients and ask them about, hey, this is what we're thinking. Tell us where we're not going well, or where, like, do you like this, or this is our intention behind it. And so before we go out and go too crazy on hard coding in the app, we get some feedback, right, and we round it out, because the market has a different view on what we would think would be the right thing. But mate, well done. It was awesome, and a bit heavy time to start the episode there, getting right into the detail, and you're continue passionate about it, because that's the most you've spoken in all the podcasts put together.
I don't know about that, but yeah, it's cool. It's really fun, and it's nice to be able to talk about the stuff that we're building, and we tried yesterday we got on a call where the plan was we were going to sit down and basically draw out some screens, and we kind of shifted the goalpost during that call, because it was really clear that, like, trying to produce some screenshots that we could share with potential customers was going to take longer than we ended up having about 45 minutes, I think. It's going to take a lot longer than that. So we then shifted the goalpost to be, okay, why don't we just draw out, using like marker tools, basically. Let's just draw out some like wireframes, and then even that proved to be a bit too hard. So then we were like, okay, let's just find some example screens that we like on Dribbble, which we've talked about a few times, and that was helpful, because then we could both look at a few different examples and see, okay, this is roughly what we each have in mind, and let's try and find a middle ground there. And then that's what I used today to start designing this home screen, right? Yeah. So that type of thing was helpful. We're quite a while off being able to send any screenshots to potential customers in the strategic advisory council that we have, but it's coming soon. And to be honest with you, like, I think me learning Figma really well, and being able to put together screens that we could then send, I think that will come in time. But right now I'm just way quicker doing that in code. It's like, especially with Cursor, if that's going to help me, which it has. I think that might just be our move for now, until I get more skilled with Figma, or maybe it becomes not my, like I was telling you, we got on a call this morning. I want our stuff to look premium. I want it to look the best, and that I'm not going to be able to do that myself. I know that, and that's okay. I can get us hopefully like 75, 80% of the way there, but I would love to have the best looking event app out there. And so I think in time we will get a designer to help us out. And sure, we'll use AI all through that, and we're on a budget right now, and all of these things. We'll get there, but I look forward to the day when it's not my job to go into Figma and put screens together. That will be someone else's. We'll pay for that.
We're on a budget. You spend $5,000 on the letter M. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and well, on that point, we haven't heard back yet. So I'm getting a little nervous. You were making fun of me this week about the fact that I was a bit nervous about it, but it is a bit like, oh, what's going on? Because I had to go through some verification stuff with them, with
This is for people who don't know. We've got the .com. We were running SixSides.co. Now we're building out .com. So we bought the .com domain. So we're just waiting for that to
we have paid for it.
Yeah,
I don't know that we have it yet. So we're waiting to. It was advertised as, yep, you can buy this for $5,000, and so we did. And then I had to go through this verification process and check the bank statement. It was actually really interesting. That I think what they were trying to do was see, like, was it your card that you charged?
Yep.
The way they did that was there was a little verification code on the bank statement when they charged our card. And so I just had to give them that. And then that proves, okay, I've got access to the bank account that this card was connected to. I thought that was a pretty elegant way of doing it. I'd never seen that before. So we've done that step. But since then, that was now almost a week ago. Haven't heard anything back. So I might follow up with them. Yeah, might follow up with them soon, and we can report back. But hopefully we get it next week, because I am getting a bit nervous. It's a lot of money to have floating in the ether, you know. Yeah.
Mate, so I've got some news. A couple of bits of news is last week we mentioned that we had our first couple of clients, verbals.
Yes.
Right? We just before we logged on, we got payment advice that our first client has paid us. So
hey,
all the way through, that's come back. That's for our Western Australian client. That's
amazing.
Yeah. So they've been fantastic. And also another thing, Mitch.
Yes.
I was listening to the podcast this morning, and I thought it was really fun. Last episode, you actually left in a bit of a disagreement for me and my wife on the call. And I thought it was hilarious. I was like, has Mitch made a mistake? But if you haven't listened to it, the first minute's really fun. So I called Mel up and I asked her to listen to it and then record me a response. So this is a response to you, mate.
Hello.
Hey, hun. Thanks very much for recording me on your podcast when I'm completely unaware.
Talk to my lawyers. I didn't know Mitch was going to put that in, to be fair.
It was hilarious. And then I've kept listening to you guys, and it's even funnier. Like how you're talking about the notches in your hat.
Yeah, she got off the call and went back and listened to the rest. She goes, I have no interest in what you guys are doing, but I think it's really fun. But yeah, so it was hilarious. It was a really fun episode last week, I thought.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good, and I like adding those little those things that aren't necessarily on script. You know, not that we're scripted here, but you get the idea. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. And maybe we can add Mel as in Transistor, where we host a podcast. You can add like guests.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe now I can add Mel as a guest to last week and this week as well. We'll leave this in.
Love that. She's definitely a behind the scenes person. She doesn't want to be on camera, but yeah, we'll trick her.
Yeah. All right. We'll figure that out.
So, mate, also week in review. Like, what else did you do? I've done a bit of stuff that we can talk about. Yeah.
Why don't you go first? You tell me what you've been doing.
So last week, I with these clients, what I want to do is we want to make it as easy as possible for our clients who come on board, right? And some of the biggest challenges I think, is messaging. And so what I've done this week is I created a custom GPT. I've been using a fair bit of them lately. And what I've done is I trained it on what I uploaded a lot of stuff we've been doing with SixSides, our intention, the benefits for each side of the community that will go to an event. And so I spent most of the day configuring it and testing it and then redoing it, retesting it. And it's come out really well. Like I prompt our client to say, hey, look, I want to run an event. We ask it 3 questions, and then it says, we upload their website and other collateral. They upload their website and other collateral, and then we can tailor a heap of messaging for whatever tone that they want to create. So it just relieves the burden of pressure and gives that little bit of comfort back into their side, so they don't have to start things from scratch. So we've currently sent that out to the 2 clients to get their feedback, and it come out really well. And I sent it to you for review, and you thought
I was pretty impressed. Yeah, it's really powerful being able to, I think in that in the chat, in the GPT that you shared, you asked for like 3 questions only.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, it's context about your event and your vibe at that event and what are your goals, you know? It's like that type of thing. And then it's able to put out all of this content that could easily get dropped into an email, you know, for, hey, interested in speaking at, you know, blah, blah, blah. Here's a little bit of info about the app that we're going to be running. Or are you looking to network with your peers, you know, and grow your own like network as an attendee? Here's how the app can help you with that. And it's not just like useless information. It's actually really useful in the content that it's producing. And we were thinking, immediately I had the suggestion of like, oh, well, in time, let's get that embedded inside of the actual, like the back-end website for SixSides. So when event organizers are setting up an event, we will already have quite a bit of that info, right? Because they'll have given us their conference name and their dates and things like that. Yeah. And then, we can say, oh, and by the way, we've got 6 different suggestions here for how you might want to market this to your attendees, you know? If we can get that in, you've really laid the foundations there. It looks really good.
I have a lot of ideas around that topic that is not fit for this public podcast. But I really do. Like, I think there's some, again, it's, if you give it the right context and it assists people, not actually replaces them, I think it can be really powerful. And it was really interesting. And the other thing that I was looking back at what my tasks were this week is, my background is sales strategy for B2B SaaS companies, and I hadn't actually entered us into the actual framework, which is called the 5-8 method. So I did the first portion of that today because I said I would do it before our podcast, and we're hitting Easter tomorrow. And it really uncovered some interesting, helped me get an understanding of the inefficiencies that event organizers go through, because eventually they are the payer of this, right? Or the association that is the event organizer. So it actually helped me round out and see where the inefficiencies are, and then see where our efficiencies could be. Some of them, it's not quite right yet. And then it really whittled down into our ideal target market, and that's organizations or event organizers that run events, that their mission or their core objective, or one of their core objectives is to build their community or bring their community together, right? Make a stronger community as such. So again, and that's the reason why we have to change the app, because we want to facilitate that. So it's
So to expand on that a little, that's like membership organizations, right?
Could not be. It could be. Yeah,
that's one way to kind of slice it, right? Because those organizations are incentivized to grow, right? As opposed to, like, you know, we can continue referencing Laracon Australia. It's not necessarily Michael's objective to grow the Laravel brand inside of Australia. Maybe it is, but it's not like that. Doesn't then necessarily tie to him. But maybe that's
yes. It has to work for all levels of an event. It's like maybe an association could be Laravel, and their remit is to grow their community worldwide, and it has to fit into that. So, but the organizer of Laracon Australia could be, he wants to grow by 10% every year of attendees, and so we can actually help them do that as well, right? Through a few different ideas. So we have to be able to facilitate either one of those needs of an event community. So, and I really think we're on the way there, because I've been doing B2B sales for quite a while, SaaS sales, and unless you figure out a way to create a sales process that a salesperson doesn't need to be involved in every single one, you will never scale. It's too hard. So if you need a salesperson to kick off a stream of sales, by that I mean one sale, then out of that 1 or 2 or other sales come off, then that in theory means then it's going to be a self-replicating or a hockey stick growth. So be it. That means can spend all the time just getting in on a lower end, and we know if we've got the strategy right, $3,000 could turn into 50 grand, could turn into 100 grand, could turn into $1 million. And we just need to keep sowing those seeds in different parts of the world. And in theory, it should take off, right?
Yeah.
So it's really exciting, to be honest.
Well, I'm very excited to get to those, the 50 grand, the 100 grand and the million, to be honest. That motivates me. But we'll hopefully get it there. Yeah. It is an interesting point. We've got an item in here for us to talk through about limiting our own sales opportunities until we're ready, right? So you are not, deliberately, you are not going after as many events as possible right now and getting out in front of as many people as you can. You've said to me you're not doing outreach at all at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah, until we have, we've proven the concept right now, right? And now I think we need to consolidate a little bit and figure out what our plan is, because we're already having a conversation with a couple of people, other people going forward. It looks like we'll win hopefully another 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're in talks at the moment, which is awesome.
And so that means we're winning 70% of what we're talking to, but they have been referrals. Right? But already we're saying, hey, we're a single-use event app, but we're thinking we're changing, and it's causing confusion and in the sales process. And they're like, and then already one is stuck on using a single-use app, and which is fine because that's what we spoke about, but we'll end up getting into their foot in either grave or either side here, and then it'll have this legacy thing that will carry on, I think. So I'm like, well, we've proved it. Everyone's super excited on it. We need to get our strategy in place first, or what that looks like, and go to them with that and sell that. Like get them to buy that. But this is where I think the people who are signing up for us already as clients become customer advocacy. They will say yes or no, that's amazing, or no, that's amazing. I only think we're a couple of weeks away from it, Mitch, to be honest. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, I was saying to you before we started recording that I'm going to, we are going into now this Easter long weekend. So it's a 4-day weekend. But I am pretty excited, to be honest, to get in and actually do some work on this and really try and push us forward. So, and we don't have any plans of going away. We've got a few little family things happening, but we're not going away anywhere. So I'm going to be sitting at home, kind of itching, and I don't do well on the couch for more than a few hours. I get a bit bored and a bit antsy. So I could see myself putting some time into this, and I reckon you're right. Within a few weeks, we'll probably have this ready to go.
And I think when we're so early, building trust is so important, right? People are going to have to trust us without really one event without a track record, right? So so we can't do inconsistency in behavior, and inconsistency in messaging breaks trust or whittles trust down. So that's what we have to be very, very careful of. We can change a direction, but we don't want to blast 1,000 people, then change. No, we're not doing that anymore. And they're like, these guys don't know what they're doing. Yeah. Right? So, but I think we are on track to get that right. We were going to delay catching up, which for various reasons, which I talked about, but that has off the table now. So I think we can plan for you and I to catch up in person in the next few weeks after Easter, and I'll come down there for the weekend. We'll go catch up with Rolly. He's in your neck of the woods. We'll go out to dinner, have a bit of fun, but we'll plan out the strategy of the business and do a podcast in real life, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'll get you here in the office, and we can we can both sit on the same mic. That'll be a bit of fun. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. But do you see when we are ready? So I guess let's define that. When we do have the app at least available for you and I in a testable, you can actually install it on your own phone, even if we don't yet publish it to the app stores. Yeah. Do you then see, okay, if that's a month away or 2 months away, is at that point, is that where you're kind of opening up the floodgates and beginning the outreach? Is that going to be a slow start? Yeah, what's in your mind as far as when we're ready? What happens next?
Well, I think if you have to plan for the best case scenario, right? Like a little bit best case. I don't think we should open the floodgate, because as soon as we do that, you're flooded. You've got to deliver this app, and we've got to configure it. We're ideally wanting to go to and support our clients on site during their event, so they have the best experience, and we can meet people and do our own marketing thing to promote building communities. And we do have our own businesses. I don't think that we, we still have to build the back. Well, when I say we, I say we as a team, but you.
Yep.
We have the dashboard back, we have to build that out more, so people can actually make sense of everything we say we help them do after an event. So if we, in theory, I don't know if we're talking too tactical here, but in theory, where if we can figure out the pathway from turning one event and maybe turning that one into a couple more events, or just another event or two events, and we can figure out what that ratio is, we've got some innovative ideas on that, then that doesn't mean, it means this year we might get, say, 10 events, but then the next year, we don't want that to be 50 events, like without it being ready in the back end, because otherwise it could fall over, right? Our brand.
I think we'll definitely be there by next year, having it fully having the website done, the back end, we'll have everything. I don't want to be setting up these events myself. And I'll work really hard to get the system to a point where that's all driven by the system. And then, my ideal goal is, okay, I'm just building out new features, building out things to support you and to support all of the users, but not doing the grunt work of setting things up anymore. So I'm going to work really hard to get it there as soon as possible, right? So
look, I think one of the challenges is that what I say is, it really means nothing until we get past our first degree network, which people don't know us, and everyone that we're dealt with now that said yes is one or second degree but highly referred. Right? So how do we go to those fresh people who aren't even considering us? And that will be the challenge. But I don't, in theory, we don't want to muck it up and turn on the floodgates and go too hard. All of a sudden, have we got an event a week? And we're like, oh shit, hang on a sec, how are we going to do this? Right? If you're automated and said, hey, it's ready and we've got all this stuff set up for people can do it, hey, knock your socks off. I've got a plan for that, on how to do that.
Okay, well, I'm excited to get to that point. Now we're a long way away from that, but that's my goal. Yes, okay, I want you to not have any hesitation about selling, because I know that's going to lead to the best outcome, right? I want to get there.
Absolutely. We are in a race, right? We are in a race. I think there comes a fine line of supply and demand. We've got to match that supply and demand, or being able to configure, deliver without reducing the quality, right? Yeah,
that's right. And it's very easy for me to say here on a recording, I'm 2 months away from da-da-da or whatever. Life's going to get in the way. Things are going to get busy, and that's okay. It's probably, we're probably 6 months or 8 months away from being fully self-configurable. It's going to be longer than what either of us would like, but that's my goal, is I want to get us there. Because I can't wait to see, all of my prior dealings with you, with other businesses and things like that, and how good you are at doing sales and marketing. You're good at this stuff, and I know right now the state of the technology is what's holding you back, so I can't wait for that to not be a factor anymore.
I don't think that's true. I think yes, if you look at a face value, yes, but I think we've been trying to figure out what our mission is and aligning it to clients and testing. You don't want to go down a path and go, hey, this is our mission, and we do it, and people go, nah, that doesn't interest me. Oh my God. That means you run full pelt down a dead end street. I don't want to do that. We can't afford to do it. We're bootstrapping. So let's just take our time. And I think to a time and a degree, I'll be more certain than, hey, let's ready, fire, aim, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So
totally.
Now I think our goal is to show a community how we can bring it together, which we can do that, but want to foster the growth. as long as we can demonstrate that and show how it's frictionless as possible, most frictionless as possible, and it's achievable, then I think we're ready to start going out in a more deliberate fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, I'm really excited. So this is good. I got a lot of energy for this
good.
at the moment.
Finally, 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, it is late. We are recording way later than normal because tomorrow's a public holiday. But I had a can of Coke actually to help me pump up a little. And I don't normally. I don't normally have soft drinks. So yeah, it helped me get through today. But
Fair enough. So, mate, let's talk about some stuff. We haven't rehearsed this. What are some things we can talk about in the coming weeks? You know, we're getting a lot of inquiries on Journey at SixSides, like 0. Do you have access to it? Well, of course, no one knows us. We're around, right? So, is there anything that that you think that we should cover in a couple of weeks that we could plan?
I want to keep updating people on the technology because that's largely the bit I'm most interested in. So what I really hope for next week is to be able to report back and say, hey, I've got this largely done. So that's a big thing. Now, if that's not next week, that's okay. The week after. I want to be able to report to people that we've committed to meeting up. And we've got like some things booked. So, because it has kind of been on the back burner now for probably the last month or so.
Okay.
So that will be really cool to know, hey, you're coming down here. And then I will, of course, like even that out. At some point, I'll come up to you. It's not just you have to do all the traveling. But beyond that, we're not saying names of any deals that we've picked up. We're just giving like high level progress updates. So hopefully these other 2 opportunities that we're currently talking to, hopefully those will eventuate and we'll get those. We'll be able to report on them. I can't really think of too much else that I'm looking forward to reporting back on in future episodes. What about you?
So there's a couple of things. 'Cause we work in 2 businesses, right? So I think that predominantly our LinkedIns are focused on our day jobs, which is fine. But LinkedIn has released a new feature of late where you can change the banner. You can have a slideshow banner. So currently I'm set up as Sales Market Fit, and then I'm going to let's work on our profile as founders of SixSides, and then in the next couple of weeks, or I'll start probably next week because I probably won't have a lot of client contact in my day business.
Yeah.
I'll start building out a lead generation strategy for SixSides, and we'll look at specific market segment, which I showed before, which we're not going to talk about. I've got some other ideas of areas that we can go to, but let's just start dabbling out there. Look, we've got a couple of not referenceable clients. We have one referenceable client, but one future client that's a pretty big client. So let's just start dabbling that out in a couple of weeks. So they give you a couple of weeks to get what you're doing now into test flight, so we can at least talk them through. So I've chased down a few other leads. You've got some leads that you need to chase down in HubSpot as well.
That's true.
And I just got a couple of possible leads come through from Hirali in our call. So we should not stop on 2 of these other 2 that come in. One's probably not going to come in as conservatively. And let's work on, I don't know, how many clients would you like to get this year?
10.
10. All right.
Yeah.
Will we get it? And I still have my goal of getting into Olympics 2032, right? 32.
That's a while away. We got a little time to get our ducks in a row.
Well, there you go. I don't know.
I think 10. Like, that would be awesome. That's a good first year for the business, I think. Certainly gets a lot of runs on the board, references that we can get, testimonials, a lot of evidence of some of the like hypotheses that we've got about growing and like flow-on effects in the post-event stage. And that feels like a good number. I don't we are currently hoping, like you said earlier, we're hoping to be able to go to each of these events, at least one of us, to be there to do support and to do our own marketing and to help that event as well with different things. I would like this year to have an event run that neither of us go to.
Okay.
So that's another goal for me, is to see, okay, how does everything work remotely? Now, to be clear, if you're listening to this, I have full confidence, 100%, swear to God, or whatever, that the system would perform perfectly fine without us there, right? I hardly had to do anything at Laracon Australia, and that was while I was getting ready to give my talk and, doing everything else. It was like I hardly had to do anything. But really curious to see what does that look like if... Yeah, and that too, right? But really curious to see how does the system go when we're not there, and what's the difference in feedback that we get from the event organisers or from those attendees if maybe they didn't have someone there to help them get up and running. What does that actually look like?
And so that adds in like a whole other, like a troubleshooting element for the event organizer, because if we're not there, they're going to have to be able to troubleshoot, right? But yeah, look, I think 10 is a good example. Like even yesterday, was it yesterday when we had the meeting with this Danish opportunity? They brought up somebody. Like it's happening a lot in this scenario. Have you spoken to these people? Go, no, let's get that. Okay, we would love a referral. So that's we haven't spoken about that. That's your job to get that referral because it's your world. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Great. I'll add that to Trello for next week.
Go back to Rasmus and ask him.
Sure.
From him. But I think as long as we can always turn 1 into 2 and then 2 into 4, I think we'll get there. Might take us a bit of time, but I think 10 is really achievable. We just have to get ahead of the decision-making part of it. So,
well, that's right. And I mean, we're already now, a third of the way through the year.
Yeah.
And events and the organisers that are looking at potentially bringing us on or looking for event app software, we're probably getting to like the later part of the year of how comfortable along they would be. It's already 7 months to November, and so that's something for us to think about. That okay, maybe it might not be achievable because we might already be too late. But I would really love to try. We are.
Maybe it's 10 booked by the end of the year. May not be delivered.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, I would take 10 booked for sure. If you've got them.
March, like later in the early next year. So apologies for my dog barking too. But in saying that, quick sales math of that, 10 opportunities, which means you break that down, you're probably going to have half go through in a conversation, which is 20. You're going to have 20. Probably 1 in 10 are going to go through and talk to us. Maybe 1 in 5, 1 in 20. So probably need to be speaking to, or at least reaching out to somewhere in the vicinity of 200 to 300 events.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Particularly
for innovative people who are innovative and without us having a track record, where we're not one of the big events companies out there, right? So you can't show them many case studies. There's only a small market to do that, but they're there. We just have to find them.
Yeah, and not burn through too many people to find them before we've had those other runs on the board, right? So it is strategic. Yeah, it's just going to be slow and steady, and that's okay. But if we can find 10, amazing. But I think you're right. It's probably a better metric, a better goal to set is could we have 10 booked by 1st of Jan next year?
Yeah, that we're going to roll around that thing into the part of the year, so people are into that decision making, early in that decision making window. Yeah. But the real thing I think the real opportunity here is, can we figure out how to turn 1 sale into 2 sales? Right? Which I think we have a plan for that. And then if we can do that, then that 10 becomes 30 or 20, and then 40, 60, plus whatever else we're doing. That's exciting.
That is exciting.
Yep.
We'll see.
All right,
Hey?
mate. I gotta go. I've almost forgot my kids last week in daycare while I was looking at a house, and I can't do it again.
You'll get in trouble.
Forgive me.
No worries. All right, I'll let you go, and I'll say bye to the people. So
It's okay. We can finish up together, unless you want to.
We'll finish.
A monologue or a poem. Is that what you're trying to do?
I've got a haiku that I prepared earlier.
You're gonna sing my name.
No, God, no, I'm not going to sing. No
My name's
singing.
Mitchell. I wear a fat hat because my head is.
See, I'm going to have to reach out to Mel. You're being a bully. I don't know. This is no good. Anyway, the people can find us if they want to. Journey at SixSides.co. For now, we'll let you know when we got the .com. We would love. I've got to start asking this at the start of the show. 5-star reviews. We've had a few, which is great, and we thank you. I don't think we've had anyone actually write us a review yet on anything that I've seen, but we would really like that. If you are listening, send us an email. You can follow Gavin Tye on LinkedIn. You can follow me, Mitch Dav, on Blue Sky and LinkedIn. I do see the people on Blue Sky that are liking these when Transistor pumps out a tweet about it. So thank you for liking it. I'd love if you'd repost it though. That might help me get this out the door a bit more. But I think there's 5 people or so that regularly like it. So thanks for joining us on the journey. All right.
Mate, I've got a random idea. I just had it.
Oh.
It's brilliant. No one's going to log in, but let's see how it is. I think we can stream live to our YouTube channel from this pod if we do this podcast, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So next week. People probably won't log in. They don't know us, but let's do a test. Let's do a live stream podcast on YouTube. So if anyone is listening to this next week, and because we release this on a Tuesday, we do record this we will record this on a Friday, relatively early, right? So it's about
Friday is Anzac Day. Are you going to be around?
Not. Yeah, no, we won't do it on Friday. Okay, so we'll probably do it
maybe Thursday.
We'll do it Thursday afternoon. We'll record it live, and if anyone is around and they want to ask us any questions or have any feedback, or maybe you are going on this journey and you're a founder and maybe you just want to connect, by all means, come along.
Get involved.
We can answer your chat. We can answer you in real time, and maybe you just want to have a laugh. So yeah.
And please don't embarrass us by nobody turning up. That would be rough.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to tee up a couple of people to log in.
Yeah, that's right. Have a few waiting in the wings just in case. Get Mel on there.
I'll get on Upwork and pay some people to come in.
Yeah. I'll let Nicole know, hey, I need you to be free at 4 p.m. next week. Yep. We'll see how we go. All cool, right, man. All right. Have a good long weekend, and we'll catch you all next week.
Yep. No worries. See you, mate.
See ya.